Everybody loves a good joke, but sometimes a joke can bite you in the place where you sit down. Here's what we're talking about today. When I was on ship, about the only thing I had the ability to watch and actually have it watch all the way through were shorts because the internet was not quite up to par. So I watched some shorts, and you may have seen some of these.
Easy. Hey! What the?
Whoa! Put it down.
Hilarious stuff, right? Except you're probably not a personal injury lawyer. To a personal injury lawyer, that looks like evidence of assault and battery. Let's discuss this. I can't say that I feel particularly sorry for a thief who attempts to steal something and has the package blow up in his face. But then again, I'm not the law. I am just somebody who speaks about it. And you could be in for a world of trouble if you set up one of these things to go off and it potentially injures someone. Now, I'm sure you've all seen some of the shorts where people get angry and start yelling at the camera, the doorbell camera, and screaming about how they're going to call the cops. I don't believe that any of those things are actual encounters. I believe that for the most part, those are made up, and the person who is doing the screaming and yelling is an actor or an actress because nobody with a lick of sense who did get glitter bombed or paint bombed, as it were, would more likely than not pick himself up and head in another direction because now, I mean, he literally could get caught red handed, so to speak. So I'm not so much concerned about that end of things. What I am concerned about is the idea that it's somehow fair or appropriate to set up something that will explode on someone because you think they're trying to steal the package. Now, I have a really good neighbor next door to me named Jim, and Jim is a great guy. He will come over when I'm gone, and if he sees something on my porch that wasn't there the day before, he realizes, hey, he got a package, he's out of town, he'll pick it up and take it into his house. And we've never had any problems with lost packages here. But if I was to set up one of those things, and Jim, for whatever reason, thought that I was not home, he might try to pick that up and take it to his house, and boom, there would be a huge problem. Now, I don't think in any respect that you're likely to get sued if somebody is really going about trying to steal your package, but you could be. And more importantly, they actually could call the cops because what you're doing is you are assaulting them. Theft is generally a nonviolent crime when all it is larceny, when they are taking something that doesn't belong to them and moving it off your property. Yet, if you make the box explode, that's very clearly assault. And you're not privileged to do that. You're not privileged to use force, and that's what it is, force, to defend property. And so the idea that somebody would think that this is an appropriate way to protect property is really pretty silly, and it could get people hurt. Not only could it get the thief hurt, in other words, it could go up into his eyes, it could potentially blind them, it could, particularly with these glitter bombs. Glitter is just really small cut pieces of glass. And if you get glitter in your eye, it's very liable to cut your conjunctiva, the white part of your eye. And it will have to be washed out with sterile water in a hospital. And that could get very expensive, and it wouldn't be expensive for the person you glitter bombed. It would be expensive for you because you would be responsible for that. And the police would probably come and arrest you for assault. That doesn't seem fair, perhaps, but that's the way the world works. You absolutely cannot do this. Now, they've recently had a rash of these glitter bombings down in Houston, Texas. And channel KHOU actually has a video telling people not to do this.
Okay, but here's the bad news. Texas law bans using any device to seriously hurt others to protect your property. You can also be sued, according to an assistant district attorney in Montgomery County.
It's one thing to be out the money of what you purchase. It's another thing to potentially be going to prison if something really, really horrible happens because you aren't a former NASA engineer and you try making something that seriously hurts or kills somebody.
Other prosecutors say the safest thing to do is buy cameras, hide the packages, and leave the thieves. For police, that advice is not sitting well with a lot of you on social media. Philip.
Not only could you get sued, you could get arrested. That's the part that I think most people don't understand. You are not privileged to use force to protect property, and that's what you're doing when you set up a glitter bomb. You're using force, an explosive device that puts stuff all over somebody, could potentially blind them, could potentially deafen them if it's a loud enough bang. If there are actual explosives in there, that could be essentially assault with some kind of homemade explosive device. You make an explosive device, and the ATF is going to come and knock on your door. So again, these are things that I think most people don't think about. And I wanted to let people know this is not the way to deal with porch pirates. The way to deal with porch pirates is to set up a camera. There's all kinds of different camera systems out there. I use a blink camera. I have a blink camera that looks at my driveway. So if somebody drives up into my driveway, I know they're there. I have one that looks over the front part of my porch, and I have one that looks down from the front door. And when that looks down over the front door, if somebody is stealing a package, they are more likely than not going to look up and see that camera, and we'll get a good picture of their face. That's what I would do, because then you are protecting your property by essentially allowing someone to get caught, helping the police prosecute that, and if you're lucky enough, it will wind up in the newspaper, and other people will realize, hey, that's not a soft target. So that's the lesson for today. No glitter bombs, no exploding packages, no shotgun shells that go off when somebody tampers with a package. Those are the kind of things that can get you sued or arrested. And I would just say one more thing. If you really are going to have a package delivered, and it's an important package to be delivered, there are ways to build a drop box on your property that FedEx or UPS or the US Mail can deposit a package into. And that way you don't wind up taking the risk of having somebody steal something that's really important to you.
Thanks for watching. I appreciate you being here today. If you have the opportunity today, try to do one kind thing to help somebody else. Any kind thing will do. Buy somebody a Coke, get them a cup of coffee. Anything that makes their day better, that would be a way to help make the world a better place. Because after all, isn't that what we're all after? Now, YouTube has a few things that they think you might be interested in, and they're going to be showing you that right up there.